Hey guys, this is Zach Wiley again. I just want to kind of walk you through what a grinded up floor looks like. You know, this concrete had a cure and seal all over it. It was a nasty mess, but this is what we did when we ground up that concrete. And it looks fresh and new. And you're going to see all sorts of variation in this concrete too, which is great. And some folks love to take all of that out and they love to just grind it as smooth and as, well, not as smooth as possible. They grind fairly deep sometimes and it takes out a lot of this variation. And then as you're staining the floor, a lot of people look for and want that mottled effect. And so what that mottled effect is going to get you is just beautiful variations and character to your concrete. That's all stuff that we want to see. And it may look a little messy right now, but when we add in a stain on top of this, I mean, it would just be like completely a different world, and your concrete would look like it has just beautiful, beautiful character all over it. This room still needs a little bit of work. You're going to see some grinding marks over there, so we'd come back and touch this up with a hand grinder before we continue. But a lot of this stuff, you know, we want to be able to just leave the concrete as it is. You know, we want you to see the concrete. We want you to be with it. We want you to understand that, hey, you know, it's okay to have some character into your concrete. And that's just going to aid in the staining process and really just bolster the look at the end of the day. You know, again, you know, some guys take all that stuff out, and that's completely fine. You know, that's a great way to do it, and you can get a very consistent stain. But ever since I started doing this, I'll be honest with you, I've only had a few customers ask me for, hey, we just want a very consistent and, you know, not bland, but simple looking stain. And that's all well and good, and that's up to the customer and what they want to do. And that's great. Can't really beat the view either, my goodness. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you really want to see something decorative and you want to see all that variation, you know, leaving some of that in your concrete as you grind it is a great way to do that. I mean, imagine this with a walnut brown stain on it or a taupe stain on it, or, I mean, it just doesn't matter. I'd choose something different than gray, but I mean, whatever color would suit your fancy. Imagine the swirls and the patterns in this concrete. I mean, it would just look gorgeous. It would look absolutely gorgeous. All these veins and just different character marks, I mean, it would all come out in the stain and would look just spectacular in my opinion. So again, there's plenty of ways to get this done. This house was a very great candidate for a grind, stain, and seal. You know, the concrete just had that acrylic sealer on top of it. So once we got that off and, you know, we shored up the concrete, made it look nice and pretty, cleaned it up, you know, this floor is gonna look really, really beautiful. So I'm very excited to stain this floor when that time finally comes. I mean, it should be here in the next few weeks once this concrete kind of dries out. But overall, I'm really pumped with the guys right now and what they did and how they left this floor. And the great part about all this variation too is honestly, when we leave the variation in the concrete after grinding, or there's already variation in the concrete just from the guys pouring it, what we can do with it is just so much more. You know, we have to do less handwork, you know, to take it all out and to make it perfectly smooth. But also when we're staining it, we get to do less stuff with our hands that might seem artificial when we add in character. You know, character marks are, you know, lighter spots and darker spots and all that other stuff. You know, when we do it, you know, I think we're really good at it. But at the same time, we are humans and we make mistakes and things can look artificial. But when you just leave the concrete looking like this and you have all this variation that's already in your concrete in a more natural process and we can just stain over top of it, I mean, the results speak for themselves. And honestly, take a look at our website at any time and the results are breathtaking. So I love leaving the concrete like this, and it just makes our lives easier. It makes your end result more pretty. And yeah, I'm really pumped with this room. As you can see, I'm a little speechless at it. This looks really cool. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll get back to you on this project.